Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So over all the years that I've been doing this YouTube channel, there have been a handful of guitars that have stood out above all others. In this video, I'm going to give you the 6 most impressive guitars that I have ever reviewed. And just to be clear, just because a guitar is not on this list, that does not mean it's a bad guitar. There are a lot of great guitars that didn't make this list. And I have excluded a lot of guitars that were like limited production runs or guitars that were just really, really rare. As an example, I have not included the MAB Rocket guitar, even though I really like that guitar. When it comes down to it, this video is basically the 6 most impressive guitars that I've ever reviewed that anybody out there could go and just buy off the shelf. If I had to narrow it down to just 6, these are the ones I would choose. Okay guys, now let's get right into this, but of course, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed for some reason, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's start now with the first guitar. And to be clear, I am not ranking these guitars, so in no particular order, number 1 is the Harley Benton Fusion 2. When the Fusion 2 came out, it blew everybody's mind, my mind included. Now, why am I not listing the Fusion 3? Well, the Fusion 3 is cool, and it's a little bit better than the Fusion 2, but it's really just an extension of the Fusion 2 series from Harley Benton. And the Fusion 2 series, it's got that roasted maple neck and fretboard, the stainless steel frets, the Floyd Rose 1000 series bridge, and coil splitting. And when these things came out, even still today, you can get one of these guitars for under $500. Harley Benton really broke the mold when they released the Fusion 2 series guitars. It was an amazing super strat at an amazing price, and it really, I think, set the standard and kind of set the bar for a lot of companies, a lot of other companies to try and reach. The other thing is that my signature guitar that I have with Harley Benton is based off of the Fusion series and really based off of the Fusion 2 series. So if it hadn't been for that guitar, I probably wouldn't have my signature guitar that I have today. Okay, let's go on to the second guitar. This is going to be the EART T380, or sometimes the TL380, depending on how it's listed. This is the telly-shaped, almost like a super strat, super telly kind of a guitar. And this is another guitar that just when it came out, it absolutely blew me away. And if you look at how this guitar is priced in the $300 range, $350, maybe $399, you know, depending on sales and things like that. But again, you just look at the specs that you're getting for that amount of money. It's got the stainless steel rounded ball in frets. And again, this guitar came out a couple years ago when those frets were not quite so common as they are now. And while a traditional Telecaster is cool, I prefer something like this where it's got humbuckers and the 6 individual saddles. Now, compared to the Harley Benton, the EART does not have a Floyd Rose bridge, but the price difference reflects that. The build quality is excellent, and they come in a variety of colors. And again, just the value for the guitar you're getting, and such a great guitar. I mean, this is another one that just really, really impressed me. And it's a guitar that I've held on to. I've got my T380 from a few years ago. It's a guitar that I play often throughout the years, and I never plan on getting rid of it. Okay, now let's go on to number 3. And number 3 is actually not one particular guitar, but a series of guitars, and that is the Jackson JS32 series. Now, the sort of entry-level Jackson guitars, they've been okay when you go back in time, you know, in the early 2000s and so forth. They were cool, but they felt like entry-level guitars. When Jackson got to the JS32 series of guitars, it took a massive leap forward. And suddenly, for a few $100s, you could get an iconic classic Jackson design, you know, body shape, and then an awesome neck. The JS32 series necks from Jackson, yes, they're bolt-on necks, but they are thin, super shreddy necks with nice, big, fat jumbo frets. 24 frets in most cases. When somebody asks me, hey, what's a good guitar, an entry-level guitar, not something too expensive, but something that I can really shred on, right? And maybe they want a proven brand, you know, they don't want to go outside of the box as far as brand popularity. I say, man, get something from the Jackson JS32 series. Yes, it's in some ways the lower end of what Jackson has to offer, but the quality of the guitar you're getting for that money is just incredible. The other thing is they make awesome mod platforms. I've got a JS32 series Rhodes V. I've changed the bridge, I've changed the pickups, some of the wiring. That guitar totally smokes now, and it started off as one of those entry-level Jacksons. And of course, I've never touched the neck. The neck and the frets, totally awesome. And great necks, that brings me to number 4. So for number 4, I'm going to choose the AIO S2 neck through Strat type guitar from AIO All-in-One Guitars. Now this is a brand that I've talked a lot about over the years, and if you go back like the Wolf WLP guitars, I was talking about those as like, hey, the best value guitar, and those are still incredibly great guitars. Nice hardware, amazing setup, good wood choices, things like that. But the guitar out of all of the AIO stuff that impressed me the most was that S2 series neck through Strat. Number one, it's a beautiful guitar. And it's not just the way the guitar looks, but the construction is beautiful. It has this amazing multi-piece neck through body construction. You've got some amazing wood choices like ash, walnut, maple, ebony for the fretboard, locking tuners, and a satin finish all over the guitar that really highlights the good construction. All of the AIO guitars have this amazing setup that they do, and that adds a lot of value to the guitar. But when you just sit down and you play one of those, like the S2 Strat type guitar, the neck through models is what I'm really talking about. And they do make some tellies with the same construction, I should mention that. But when you sit down and you play this guitar and you think, hey man, this guitar costs like about $500, it blows your mind. It feels and plays so much better than some traditional bolt-on type Strat that could cost double or even triple the price. It's amazing. Okay, now moving on to number 5. Number 5, I'm going to choose the Schecter Sun Valley Super Shredder. And again, this is kind of a series of guitars. I think you could choose any of the models from that series, and you would go with, you'd have a great, great guitar. Now, why do I like these guitars so much? Well, Schecter is a brand that, even though they're an established brand, they don't rest on their laurels. They do a really good job of providing a lot of value for the amount of money that you're spending on the instruments. And the Sun Valley Super Shredder guitars, they are a really good value and just a perfect blend of specs for a shred guitar. Kind of, in some ways, kind of a throwback guitar with some of the colors that they put out. You've got super hot humbuckers. You've got 24 extra jumbo frets, a satin finish on the back of the neck, even when the body is gloss finished. You've got a Floyd Rose bridge. Some of them even had the Sustainiac electronic setups. These are very well made guitars, and also the build quality is very consistent with these guitars. You can go to just about any guitar store that has one of these guitars, pull it off the shelf, play it, and it's going to be great. The Sun Valley Super Shredder, I loved it when it came out. I still love it, and it's a guitar that you just can't go wrong with. It's going to be great, and they compete with like the Charvels, right, and some of the higher end Jacksons. Only the Schecter stuff is at a lower price point, but it's just as good, in some cases even better. Okay guys, now we're getting to the end here. This is number 6, and this is actually a guitar that I reviewed fairly recently. Vola OZ-RV TNC. A beautiful Japanese-made guitar. Just look at this thing. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm choosing this guitar as one of the most impressive guitars. One is because it's just an amazing guitar. You look at the specs, it's got the stainless steel frets, it's got the roasted maple neck, it's got a reverse headstock, which I love, and it's got an amazing pickup and control system. And the craftsmanship on this guitar is just second to none. It's just amazing work. But the other part of this, and I hate to keep harping on value and prices and all that kind of stuff, but a few years ago, Vola was making really nice guitars still, but very expensive guitars. And Vola, through changes in their manufacturing and being able to increase manufacturing in efficiency, automation, and so forth, they were actually able to lower the prices while keeping the quality just as good or even better in some cases. So now you can get this amazing Japanese-made guitar with amazing specs for well under $2,000. In some cases, there were some Vola guitars, same body style and everything, but just simplified electronics that were under $1,000. And to be able to get that level of specs and craftsmanship, with a hard case, all the stuff that it comes with, in that price range is really, really amazing. When so many companies were increasing their prices, they lowered their prices, and that's a big reason why I'm choosing this guitar. Okay, so there is my 6 most impressive guitars that I have ever reviewed. Now, I want to be super clear about something. Just because something is not my favorite, that does not mean that I don't like it. As an example, I like P-51 Mustangs and I like P-38 Lightnings. I just happen to like the P-38 Lightning a little bit more. I feel the same way about guitars. I could probably come up with a top 100 list of guitars that I like, but nobody is going to sit through that, not even my mom. Okay, now hold on. There's actually one more guitar that I want to mention. I'm going to tack on an honorable mention, a 7th guitar here. And this is the 2nd generation SBS Showroom Series guitar from Guitar Fetish. So SBS, Steve Brown Sound. This was this cool line of guitars that Steve Brown and Guitar Fetish launched last year. And why am I saying the second generation, and what's so great about this guitar? Well, the second generation had a lot of improvements to it. And this is an amazing, like, super strat 80s shredder guitar that you can get for like $300, right around there. Some were even less than $300, some were a little, $379. Prices like that. And it's a super cool guitar that you can get for that price. But the first generation, the initial launch of the guitars, they did have a few shortcomings. And so the reason why I'm tacking this on as a seventh, most impressive guitar is that the company actually listened to the criticism and the feedback from the customers, and they made a bunch of those changes that they then put into the second generation of guitars. And now the guitar is much, much better, while costing about the same. I wish all companies would do that, but sometimes companies are just dead set on like, no, this is our guitar, this is how we're going to make it, take it or leave it, and they don't always listen to the customers. So when Guitar Fetish, SBS, Guitar Fetish, when they did listen to the customers, I was like, bam, that alone is impressive. Whew, all right, guys, that is it. That is my 6+1 most impressive guitars I have ever reviewed. Now, I know there's going to be a bunch of people down in the comments, what about this guitar? What about that guitar? Well, please ask me about those guitars down in the comment section below, and I'll try to respond to you and answer those questions, why I didn't choose such and such guitar and things like that. But let me know your thoughts, all of them, please, down in the comment section below. I will have links in the video description for the individual reviews that I've done of all of these different guitars, if you guys want to check that stuff out as well. I'll also have my social media and instructional videos, all that stuff down there. Guys, thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribe if you haven't already, thumbs up, and I'll see you soon.